welcome to another video of Game of Thrones Academy. Hi Itamar.
Hello.
As usual, we're going to talk about A Song of Ice and Fire through the lens of history and politics. But first, I want to say thanks. We've been getting some love from the viewers and especially from other YouTube channel owners, especially Balde Porto. She has a great Song of Ice and Fire YouTube channel. And the Red Team Review, that's a huge channel. We're very happy for the positive reviews. Yeah, we're sure that you're already subscribed, but just in case, we're gonna add links to their channels in the description. So thanks, guys. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the free cities. For most of the story, the free cities are over there. We only hear a little bit about them. We don't know exactly what they are, and we're not sure that we're going to get there, but eventually we do. So tell us a little bit about the free cities.
So let's look at the free cities in contrast to where the main plot is happening, which is Westeros.
Right.
They are very different.
What does that mean?
Independent political unit with no not part of some monarchy.
Right.
And they are even not monarchies themselves. Most of them are republics, exception maybe it's Pentos, which has this figurehead prince, which performs a certain duty of a scapegoat.
It's like a job.
It's a city in the Middle Ages is something unique. It's something rare because the cities can produce something. So the basic raison d'etre of a city, like the main purpose of a city, is like a place to trade. The free cities are based on trade and...
Right. So there's also social mobility in the free cities?
In contrast to the Westerosi world,
right.
Basically you can start in a city from a humble beginning, reach the top if you work hard, like as an idea.
And you have luck. Yeah.
And you have luck and you work hard and you find the right master that you can...
And you don't have that in Westeros.
You don't have that in Westeros.
You're stuck in a certain
if you are born a peasant, if you are born a merchant, you will stay there.
Yeah.
In this world, urban culture is something different. It's much more tolerant and, like you say, have certain social mobility.
And what about religion in the free cities? In
contrast to Westeros, there is no state religion.
Right.
Like, we don't get the sense that you have a state
Braavos
religion.
For sure they don't have a state religion.
It's like they accept every religion there is.
Right.
And even in Volantis, they allow a preacher from a foreign religion, basically,
the Lord of
Light, to preach against the powerful people in this.
And they preach against the political institutions in place in the political system.
Against the culture, against the ideals.
They preach against slavery. And the whole economy and the whole political system is based on slaves.
Against slavery and for the champion of the breaker of chains, which is Daenerys.
And the enemy of Volantis.
The enemy of Volantis, yeah. So that's very surprising.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's very surprising.
And we see in King's Landing, in A Clash of Kings, there's this preacher, and he preaches against the king. The king is an abomination. The imp is an abomination.
Yeah, the North has one city.
Winterfell.
Winterfell is not a city.
How come it's not a city?
It's a fort, maybe, and they have a town next to it. But they say a White Harbour, it's like the only city, real city.
So the capital of the North is not even a city; it's a fort.
It's a fort, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I think it goes to your point. Okay, so White Harbour.
White Harbour is like a small town if you compare the scale to the cities in the east.
To the free cities. And King's Landing, that's the capital. But
King's Landing, that's the capital, but it's also small.
And people say it's a shitty city also.
It's a shitty city, yeah. But it's not an important city in terms of the economy and the culture and the politics.
And even the people that rule, the ruling family, they're not even, or they don't originate from there. So
they
can
sack it. Yeah, they can sack it. You know.
And what about Old Town? That's a unique Westeros city.
Old Town it started as a city, as a town.
Even before
the first man or something like that.
And when Aegon wanted to be sworn in as king and wanted to be accepted as king, he went to Old Town.
Yeah.
And when you compare these cities, the Westerosi cities and the free cities, to Middle Ages cities,
the first thing that came to my mind from history was the Italian city-states. You have a few famous names like the Republic of Venice, the Duchy of Milan, Florence, of course, the house of where all the Ninja Turtles, Leonardo and Michelangelo.
That's a recurring joke here.
Yeah, they came from
For hardcore
Florence.
fans.
The Italian city-states came from the Roman Empire. The free cities are basically the daughters of Valyria. Braavos reminds me of Venice in a lot of ways.
How?
Like the canals.
The canals, for sure, right?
The place, in a World of Ice and Fire, they talk about the arsenal that, like a shipyard in Braavos that can build ships very, very quickly.
Okay.
And you have something like that in Venice. In its,
Right, in the
prime.
Middle Ages.
Like an arsenal that can build a ship, like a galleass,
Right.
so like a medieval ship, very quickly. And also the political system, like a republic of rich merchants. You had this in Venice.
So when you look at the free cities and you see the similarities between them and the Italian city-states, what can that tell you about what is going to happen? This video's bold prediction, right? Cue bold prediction. Okay.
In a sentence,
Yeah.
capitalism is coming.
Capitalism is coming.
Yeah.
To Westeros.
To West.
Explain.
If you look at the Italian city-states or cities as a whole, as an idea, like an urban culture as an idea.
They are the champions of the urban culture in this world,
In
the
this
free
world,
cities.
yeah, I think if we take Braavos, they are against slavery and they are for freedom, and they have this big statue
Right.
that welcomes the poor and the deprived, and you can be
And the
anyone.
sick.
Yeah, the statue is based maybe on the Colossus of Rhodes.
Right.
As
But
an
the
idea,
Yeah,
like a
it's
big
very
statue that
interesting.
welcome you and to our dog.
And when you get there, they don't look at you, they don't look down at you necessarily just because you came there. It's not like Westeros. If you go to Westeros, if you go to a city, you have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to Braavos, you can make something of yourself.
During the Middle Ages, maybe 10%, maybe maximum of 10% of the population lived in cities. 10% lived in cities. Now in the Western world, more than 80% that lives in cities and have a city and urban culture.
So the cities won, and because the cities won and they are represented in the story in the free cities, you think this is what is going to happen in A Song of Ice and Fire?
I hope, yeah, that it will happen, or maybe something like that will happen. A lot of the merchants fought for their freedom, and the idea of a social contract and a citizenship with freedoms was born in the Middle Ages cities.
One thing that I think is like an elephant in the room when we talk about the free cities, something that is totally weird and has nothing to do with fantasy, a priori. A priori, that's
Okay.
nice.
Next one.
That's the Iron Bank.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for the story and for what is going to happen, that in the world of A Song of Ice and Fire you have a goddamn bank?
Yeah.
What does that
Inside
mean?
the city. And bank, if we compare it again to the Italian city-states, bank is a word from Italian. It was the chair or like the small stool.
Also in
that
French, bon,
yeah,
with a
that
C.
the tellers and money changers sat on when they got trade from another
So I'm going to the stool.
countries. You go to the stool and to the bank.
Yeah.
And it later was developed to a more complex and sophisticated system of loans and credits. But the basic idea was money rules these cities.
Yeah.
Capitalism wasn't invented by a Scotsman in the 18th century, Adam Smith. He analyzed existing condition, more or less, that was practical, very practical in the Italian city.
And rooted in banks.
Banks, credit, free flow of trade, free flow of money, free flow of population. The class system is very bad for business.
Okay, but the Iron Bank, we can see that it's not just like a regular bank, or maybe it is.
Yeah,
we can talk about it. It's a real player in the Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
It affects who can win and who cannot win. So this Iron Bank, what does that mean? Is because you think it's crucial to the conclusion of the story. What does that mean? Explain your headline. Capitalism is coming.
Cities will play a much bigger, important role in the kingdom to come.
And Braavos, maybe specifically because the Iron Bank is there?
Yeah, capitalism was the engine to the Western superiority. It was the engines for the scientific revolution. Capitalism made the connection between science and practical means to make money.
Right.
You know, the steam power was known to the Greeks, but it took one businessman to make money out of it and create
and
spread it in order to manufacture a lot of clothing, you know,
and make our lives better.
And makes our life better, of course.
Okay, so and I think also an interesting arc for Braavos. First of all, we know Braavos started. It was a city that founded from escaped slaves, and they were hidden for hundreds of years. And it will be interesting for the arc to be complete that they end as the biggest and strongest power in this world, and proud power of this new world. And also, I think it's interesting. They escaped slavery. They escaped dragons. The dragons were
Dragon Masters.
Dragon Masters. They were associated with slavery, but now Dany's dragons, they're associated with freeing the slaves. And we know that Braavos, they're all capitalists, but they do not trade with Slavers Bay because they have this one red line that they won't cross. They will not trade with slave cities. I think there will be a connection between Braavos, the bank, and the dragons. Now
you think they will support her?
Yeah, because now the dragons are exactly the opposite, and their interests are aligned to destroy slavery. And it's good for business for Braavos that slavery will be destroyed, so now they can go back and trade with Slavers Bay, which will have to be called somewhere else, whether Freedom Bay. Freedom's Bay.
Freedom's Bay.
Freedom's Bay.
Sounds.
It could happen.
Yeah, it could happen, but I don't see that. No, I don't see it. It's very logical what you said, but she sits on a dragon, on a magical creature that spits fire. Who could say that they will lend her money and then she can say fuck you, I have a dragon.
No, but her whole raison d'être is the fact that she frees slaves. And here their interests are aligned. But anyways, we don't have to agree.
Can they support Stannis and Daenerys at the same time?
They can do whatever they want. There's the goddamn Iron Bank.
That's right. Coca-Cola, when the Nazis ruled Germany in the 30s, so Coca-Cola...
That's a happy story.
Yeah, that's a happy story. There are no more,
Spoiler alert.
No, when the Nazis ruled Germany, so all the Western countries boycotted their economy, like the big, IBM and stuff, and Coca-Cola also boycotted them. So they couldn't sell Coca-Cola in Germany, so they created Fanta.
Fanta, yeah, a sub-brand.
Yeah, Nazi cola. They invented, they created a drink so they can still make money.
And in 400 years, in A Song of Ice and Fire, we can be pretty sure that the Iron Bank will destroy the world's economy, crash
the economy.
From maybe a subprime derivatives of dragons.
Derivatives of dragons, yeah.
With a promise of getting dragons.
The bubble will burst. Yeah.
Okay, so I think it was a great video. If you agree with Itamar, if you disagree, maybe you agree with me that the Braavos will support Daenerys. We'll see. You can like and comment and subscribe to get our next video. We hope you liked it. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.